this, but ain't nobody stopping me. That's how I go when you pay for them shows and you study that.
All right. Welcome to January, Mush Puffs. That's right. It's January 3rd, 2019. And we're back with a brand new live chat with. Now, if you're wondering exactly who we got on today, well, just judging off the name, you would think that it's an unfortunate Asian person who joined a gang in LA. But oh no, he's so much more to that. He is one of a lot of YouTubers' favorite guy out there, or at least a very, very well-beloved dude. The one, the only, the incredibly edgy RealYungCripp. What's going on, buddy? Oh, don't have you. No.
Hey.
Oh, sexy.
How's it going?
You and I have danced around each other for a long time. A long time. We've talked about this, doing an interview for a long time, having you on. I want to say for about a year, it's been sporadic, like every so often be like, oh man, somebody will say, oh, get RealYungCripp on. And we'll talk about it real quick. And then nothing ever comes from it. You know, the last year has been such a crazy thing. Cripp is my Mexican, says Kolofsky. But yeah, so I'm really glad that we finally got you on, man.
Yeah, dude, I'm really happy to be here.
And it's good timing. It's great timing. It's really, really good. We had a little bit of an explosion the last few days. We had a little bit of cool stuff happen to the channel. I don't know if you've been paying attention to that insanity. So it's actually the perfect time because with all the stuff with the real intense shit in my personal life that has been with the people that I've been having on, this is a completely different change of gears type interview type show. And I'm really excited, man. I think we're going to be able to have a lot of fun today.
Oh, yeah. Oh, fuck yeah, dude. I hear that.
Well, yeah. All right. So let's just get right into it and slam it down and all that type of stuff because I don't watch a lot of people on YouTube, but I have started watching you as of late. And I realized really quickly, I don't know nearly as much about you as I would like to know. And I know a lot of people learned quite a bit about you and your situation last year when Tommy and Colossal's Crazy, who you happen to be the favorite cripple of. Eat it, Ricky Berwick. Ha ha, you bastard. You shove another cookie up there. RealYungCripp's got you beat, bitch. I only say that because he won't give me an interview. So.
No, that's right. That's fair. No,
so fuck him. So that, which was a really good success last year, by the way, that whole, the whole fundraiser, everything that they did, that was a really cool thing. Yeah. So before we get too far into everything else, tell people who may not know exactly what your current situation is, and we can go from that point.
Well, situation was just like my overall health and stuff.
What happened, all that type of stuff. And so we can get that out of the way so people know exactly who you are.
Right. A while back, I had a really bad flu that, because of my disease, which in summary is spinal muscular atrophy type 2, it leaves me with a really weak immune system and respiratory system. And that laid me up in the hospital because I was coughing up blood. And came out of that on Christmas. And once you think you got everything covered, and then insurance tries to, do a number on you, and that's a hard thing to go through.
Yeah, trust me, I know far too well.
Yeah, so that was just a really stressful moment.
So you were born with the dystrophy and everything, correct? This was from birth. This was something that didn't happen later on in life, correct?
Right. Yep. Nope. Born with.
And how old are you now? How long have you been dealing with this?
I'm going to be 26 here soon.
Man, shit. I know that just lasting that long and being the person that you've become is an accomplishment in of itself, I think a lot of people would say. And the fact that you do things in the public eye is even more insane. I mean, there's so many people out there that shrink from adversity and hide from it. And you're so different in that you embrace it. You embrace everything you are and you show the world. Why did you decide to do that? I mean, instead of just kind of hiding and just being who you are individually behind closed doors, what made you at this time, especially with the climate of the world, to decide to go out and just, I am RealYungCripp, hear me roar and all that type of stuff?
Right. I mean, I guess it was just a matter of you really could be sad all the time. You had every reason to be.
Right.
But at that point, you're not really doing anything good. So you might as well just try and laugh about it and not take shit as seriously. Everything's too serious.
Oh, God, yeah. Jesus. Like, everybody has to have a sourpuss on all the time, and nobody can seem to be happy anymore without taking the shit out of somebody else or something. It's kind of insane, the world that we live in at the moment.
Absolutely.
But you know, not to be going to a negative spot at all, but I mean, you are kind of, no, it's not even really negative. Part of the way that you deal with stuff and you cope is by shitting. A lot of things. Absolutely going ham on persons, places, things, and ideas. Has that always just kind of been who you were? Is that from a dark place, or is this just your sense of humor, and has that developed over time? Where does that come from? Because, I mean, a lot of comedians like to talk about how anger and darkness leads us to some of our funniest moments. Did you find that to be true for, or was it something else?
Oh my God, no, it's absolutely a coping mechanism for me. That's definitely what it started as. In a weird way. I don't think I did it consciously. It was just how you got through a moment in your life that's really intense and you didn't know how to deal with it. So you're just like, ha ha ha. Like, that's all you could do.
Right. No, I totally understand that.
Through that, it was just like, I can't take anything too serious. Once it gets to a point where it's like tension, let's just fucking laugh about it.
Because silence has got to be one of the worst things for you, especially when you're maybe meeting new people and getting out there, putting yourself in situations. The last thing you want is an awkward silence with somebody. Do you find do you find yourself being a little conscious about, like, other people maybe being a little too reserved with you and not knowing what to say, not knowing how to interact with you properly? Is that part of the reason why you kind of like to bring levity into all situations?
Oh, for sure. Definitely. I get that it's, to some people, a bit, you don't know how to go about talking to somebody. You get scared about not saying the right thing or the wrong thing.
Right.
So I figure if I can just take the piss out of you right away, you'll get the vibe that, oh, okay, you're fine.
Right. So it's more about relaxing the other person than it is really entertaining yourself even.
Yeah. It helps.
I'm sure. I know that to be true. I mean, even with my own little fucking frou-frou problems that I have physically, I take the piss out of situations constantly. I'd rather laugh at myself than give someone an opportunity to maybe feel bad about my situation or something like that. Do you find that to be true as well? Like, it's easier.
Oh God, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Because even though I joke about it, I still get those like people that say, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry," and I'm like, "No, dude, I'm joking about it. That's the point. It's fine. I don't need it."
Have you, since coming onto YouTube and everything, have you had any awkward situations with people? Maybe even in the comments section, maybe somebody not thinking things were as legitimate or anything of that nature that you've had to deal with that maybe people don't know about?
I wish there was somebody that thought I legit couldn't walk. That'd be funny. Or like that I could. That'd be hilarious.
Right.
I want that controversy.
It's not even the legitimacy. I meant it more like, I used the wrong word completely. More like people being awkward or trying to talk to you in a different way, maybe in the DMs or something like that, to get, you know, you know what I mean? It, like that weird type of strange connection some people might have with people and try to get a little bit too close, too familiar, or maybe too sympathetic. Or, you know what I mean? Ever have anything like that? Is that something you have to deal with a lot? Because I got to feel like a lot of people would try to reach out to you and connect.
Yeah, it was real weird. If I remember, there was a person on my other Twitter account that was this really religious, I want to say lady, and it was just a really long spiel about how she was going to pray for me to get better, and that was just an awkward point.
Right. And what do you say to that when people tell you that they're praying for you? What do you do? How do you just kind of laugh at it, or do you respond?
I try not to be a dick, but in certain situations I can't help. But like, you're putting me in a weird spot, man. Because I get that it's coming from a good place in their heart.
Yeah.
But like, just between you and I, that's not going to do anything.
Yeah. Why would it? I think it's well intentioned, but people are so awkward with it, and it's more about them. You know, it really is. It's more about them not wanting to feel awkward than it is even offending you. That's got to get frustrating after a time, right?
Oh yeah, because there's a big difference between a lady that stops me in the middle of Walmart,
right,
versus like this. I had the experience with this really gnarly biker dude who like was riding with his crew and was stopped and was like, "Hey, we're gonna pray for you." I was like, "Yeah, dude, that's totally cool. You do that, dude."
Sons of Anarchy decided to come lead a prayer circle with you. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was fucking insane. I was really scared, and I was like, "Yeah, dude, you can do that."
Oh, that is too.
They were cool dudes.
What is that like when you have people that you don't know, a biker? Is that the weirdest situation that you've had to deal with to date?
Oh man, weird. Oh Jesus, there's a lot of them.
Like every day, new adventure, motherfucker.
God, it's always something new. I wouldn't even know where to fucking begin on that. That's one of the weirder ones for sure.
It's gotta be. Have you? All right, this is gonna be this. I'm not gonna make this all about your current situation or your disease or anything like that. I got like a couple more questions. Really, one. This is just because I'm a sick fucking guy and I can't help it. Have you had any strange sexual situations where somebody may have wanted, like, there are fetishes for fucking everything, man. There are fetishes for everything. Do you have any? You're kind of out there with the ladies. I see the stuff you retweet, the people that you talk to all the time. You love the goth big titty ladies out there. I know this to be true. So any situation like that you'd like to share, something just out of the world, out of the realm of acceptable even, from a sexual standpoint?
Okay, so straight up, you would think out of all questions I get asked, there's always one, and it's become a bit of a meme with me.
Yeah,
it's no matter what, without fail, somebody will always ask me if my penis works. It's just a constant question.
Well, sure.
At no point, and nobody asks in like a manner in which like it's kind of acceptable or in a subtle, nice way. It's just a straight up directly, "Hey, dude, that I've never talked to in my life, your dick work?"
How's the cock working?
That's the thing. Like, no matter what I say, it's still gonna get asked. I even have to put it in my fucking Twitter bio. So people would stop asking, but people still ask.
Right. Because I know it's in your Twitter bio, but I still want to fucking ask. I still want to fucking make sure. How's the cock working today, bud? Is everything working good with the penis, you know?
It's working too good.
It's working too good. Jesus. I don't even know what that means. Like, it's working at more than optimum capacity, sir. It's at 120% today. Thank you, Scotty, for the systems update.
Exactly.
That's too funny. One more thing with all of this, and then I want to get into some other stuff with you and your YouTube journey. Yes. Like I said, one of the videos that I liked of yours, actually Tommy turned me on to it the other day when we were talking about it, and was your coping video. Because you said that is basically the question, probably not as much as your dick working or not, but the coping question is probably the question you get asked most. And you gave, I mean, just one of the straight up most honest fucking videos that I think anybody will give on this topic. I mean, because the easy thing is the platitudes, the things that I've said a million times to other people who are dealing with any type of adversity. You know, you stay positive, you take it a day at a time, you try to deal with the things as they come. But your answer was so simple. You know, I cope by coping. You know, I that's essentially the message of it. You have to keep going. So you do. There's no thought into how you cope. You just live your goddamn life. It's become second nature. It's not something that you have to think about every day. Was that always the case, or is it something that you had to develop over time? I'm sure you've gone through different stages in your life of how you deal with things. So I kind of want to know how that has progressed, not how you cope now, because obviously you're a fully functioning type of guy with great mental faculties that deal with the life that you've been given. But has it always been that way? And if not, how did you get to where you are at this moment?
I guess the long story short would just be you just keep going until one thing makes sense.
Right.
And I tried a bunch of different things, I suppose, and then once everything fell apart and didn't make sense,
right,
you get left with oh, I guess this is just how it is then.
And just kind of that acceptance stage where it's no more trying to figure out the hows and whys and if things will get better. It's just, this is the life and this is who I am.
Yeah.
You think that's the healthiest thing for most people, though, to just try to jump to that stage, you know, whatever the adversity is in someone's life? Or do you feel that process of going through it is integral to initially sustaining or inevitably sustaining that mindset?
Oh, yeah. It's something that you either really had to actively try and go for, or in my situation, you just have, that's it, because there's not too much else that would other, you know. Yeah.
I remember your early days, because I was seeing your videos on Twitter more than I was anywhere else. And I remember that's one of the first times we interacted was I made a comment about your brother in the background, who I fell in love with. I absolutely fell in love with you just because he sits there with the best fucking expressions, and it tickled me. Do you remember this? This was like the first time I ever interacted with you. And I was mentioning your brother. You said something really funny back, and I was like, I like this guy. And I just immediately, I just clicked with it. When you were uploading those videos and at the early days, were you worried about the reaction that you might get? Was it something that concerned you? Maybe even maybe deterred you a little bit from starting all this up?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I think everybody has that bit of whatever about themselves of like, that they're gonna say that, they're gonna do that, blah. But you go through that and then you say, fuck it.
Just go,
what's
for
the
yourself.
worst they can really? Yeah, like what's the worst they can really fucking do?
Right. You know, maybe leave a nasty little comment, and that's about it. And then you get to tear them apart.
See, because that's my thing. Like, nothing anybody can say to me is any worse than what life has already done to me. So fucking whatever.
Right. It's like, you think that your comment, I deal with God daily, motherfucker. What do I care about your 180 words here? Jesus Christ. It makes no fucking sense.
Exactly.
How does your family feel about what you do? Are they supportive ultimately about everything that you put out? Do they watch what you do? Because you're pretty raunchy. Does that run in the family, or are you just kind of the lack of a better term, the black sheep of the family that they just don't seem to get? How have they been with your YouTube career, for lack of a better word?
So I guess the humor does run in the family because, well, my brothers, they're funny.
And you're the oldest, right?
Are. Yeah, I'm the oldest. I want to take claim to I'm why they're funny, but anyway. But that's kind of what we do. I think my brothers are also good at other things, and that's what they went towards. Like, they're really good at sports, and my other brother's, going to be a tattoo artist. Yeah. But I kind of I stuck with the comedy and like the haha, and I don't know. I didn't really plan to do anything with it, but it just happened that it worked out the way it did, and now I'm here.
Yeah, the best way to go. I mean, when things are organic, and most of your stories seem to be about your daily life and everything. You draw inspiration from things that are around you. One of the better stories I actually had heard from you in a while was from your most recent video, where you talk about where your brother basically kidnaps you. Essentially, your brother just said, you know what, I'm fucking taking you, I'm kidnapping you. And he took you on a joint, and he didn't take your fucking wheelchair. You know, he didn't take your chair. So you're sitting there with your brother, he takes you to a tattoo parlor. If you can for us, just give us a little bit of this this latest video that you did what's the weirdest thing you saw in the tattoo parlor? I'm sorry, I gotta have you tell this story.
Oh, the weirdest thing. I swear I'm never gonna get an answer. And I really fucking want this answer. It was there was an interracial couple between a heavier set white woman and a black guy. Now, there's nothing wrong with it.
Nothing.
It's absolutely totally cool.
Sure.
But the thing I couldn't help but notice was when this lady was standing at the front of the register. If you look right above her ankle, there is a well done, like Nazi tattoo, a neo-Nazi tattoo, and these two are married, and I couldn't not think, but how is that a thing? What happened? What's the story here?
Did you think of asking?
Yeah. It got to the point where I was like, you know what? What's the worst that can fucking happen?
Right. He's not going to hit you. You have that card you can play. You are basically a human shield. Anyone grabs you, you're all basically going to be okay because nobody's fucking breathing on you, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But I couldn't. I don't know. I guess I was more in love with the mystery.
Sometimes it is that mystery that that keeps us going. I think that is such a good story because I started thinking about it too. What if it was his kink? What if it wasn't even about her?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what if that's what it was? He branded her with this fucking thing, you know, or who knows?
Yeah, it's like, that's it. You're mine now because no other person is going to do that.
That's ultimate control right there. I love you so much.
That's a power move.
It is. I love you so much, and you're going to love me so much that you're going to hate all other black people. Only me. Only me. That is some serious power of the penis if I've ever fucking heard one in my life. Good Lord.
Oh, yeah. That's a weird Twilight Zone episode waiting to happen.
Because how do you not just remove it? You know, if it's not something that's ingrained into the relationship, why would you keep it? You know, it's not even on her ass or anything.
Yeah. No, exactly. Because that was my other question was like, why are you spending money on a new tattoo, not covering up that one, when you could at least be saving it to get that one fucking removed?
Right. Yeah, and there's so many things you do with it. You could just turn it into a fucking square or something. It's a very easy one to correct.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, God. I love that story. I thought it was fantastic.
And I'm never going to give that answer.
No, you're not. This will be the one that you save for when you go to heaven. This will be that one, you know. If you believe in the afterlife and all of that, this is the question you ask St. Michael. You know, before you get in the gates, before you pay the $10 fucking cover charge that I'm sure heaven goddamn has, you ask him.
Oh yeah.
Look, man, I gotta know that interracial couple in the tattoo parlor when my brother abducted me. What was up with that? You just have to. It's literally one of the funniest things I have heard in a long time. That one tickled me deep down in my soul. God. And then between that, I also want to give a shout out to a mutual friend of ours, and you mentioned him earlier, Coleo. Mr. ColeoIsCooleo, who's done some graphic work for me in the past, is a really funny guy. He shows up in your videos from time to time, and he did in this latest one. Yeah. Is he one of your favorites to collab with? And if not, who are some of your favorite people that you like to work with?
Oh yeah, no, me and Cole, we are, for lack of better terms, best friends.
Aww.
And he will be hating on me for the next month now, because that's kind of our relationship. It's I love you guy, and then he's just like, fuck you. It works. It's yin and yang.
Right.
He's great. He's very talented, and he's very funny. I owe him a lot.
He is a funny guy, and he went on a nice little meme tangent, a nice little metaphor massacre in your latest video, which I would highly recommend people checking out because holy shit, is it fantastic. It's just
and that's the thing. I know that it's just an easy, like, hey, do me a favor, just open your mouth and say some words for me. Okay, thanks.
Do you find
no matter what?
Do you find that you attract a lot of people like that who are kind of darker minded, a little bit crazy, a little bit like with that edge, or do you run the gamut as far as friendship goes and people that you correspond with? I mean, or is there something that does kind of drive you to a certain person?
So I think I always in a weird dumb way, like the weirder like people, especially in school, I hung out with more like the burnout kids that were like had problems, and like, even though I didn't like have that bad of a childhood, I was just I was doing fine. I had a great childhood for the most part.
All things considered,
and I like hanging out with like the stoner kids. I don't know, they were just more real and upfront about themselves, and where everybody else felt like they were just trying to fit in.
Right. Which, ironically enough, has kind of prepared you for YouTube. I mean, when you think about it, YouTube is one giant fucking high school. We got
absolutely.
We got the popular kids. We got the Jake Pauls of the world, those good-looking sports motherfuckers. We have all the depressed Monkey Jones like type people who basically just tell the world to die on a daily basis. And then you have you.
Yes.
That has kind of become a dude who stands at the forefront of these people. So it was kind of a perfect transition from high school. Were you the kid in black in high school? Were you the emo kid? Or how were you in high school? And did you eventually? Because I want to think of you as like someone who dressed like Neo. I want to like blacked out fucking wheelchair, maybe some fucking nice spinners on that bitch as well. All that type of stuff. What type of kid were you?
I think. I guess it would depend on what stage in high school, but I think what the point I always felt was I wanted to be that like fucking punk rock kid.
Right.
Like I really got into that scene and that music a lot at that point. And but I didn't really have a look. That was a part of my issue with everything. But I was able to like hang out with pretty much everybody. Like I was cool with everybody. Didn't really feel out of place. I was a bit of a social butterfly.
Oh, that's cool. I applaud that. And not to make anything about myself in this situation, but part of the reason why I reached out, especially now at this time when everything is kind of going crazy for me, is I've always kind of felt a little bit of a connection to you. Not to make this all weird and gay and shit. Don't worry, I'm not going to try and suck your apparently very well working cock.
Thank you. I mean, you could.
Well, I appreciate the offer, and you know what? You never fucking know. I may take you up on that someday. I have no problem with it. Actually, I've never done it before, but still, you be my fucking first. But no, I mean, like when I got hurt in Iraq a while ago, and I have dealt with severe nerve damage ever since, and I'm my shit's deteriorating, and it's just I get these type of times like last night and last 36 hours where everything just kind of goes to shit. And I remember a while back, I just felt like a little bit of a connection with you on that. And I always, God, I'm going to start fucking getting a little emotional because it took me a long time to get where you are. Let me put it that way. I ballooned up to 525 pounds. I didn't deal with anything well. Right. I became like the worst possible version of myself. I ruined every relationship that was around me. Tommy and I didn't talk for a fucking year, but that was kind of mutual on that. It took a long time for me. And this was as an adult, You know, this was as an adult who had a child and all this stuff. I really want to thank you for kind of keeping things in perspective, you know, at all times with who you are and your comedy and your humor. It really did kind of make me remember my own journey a little bit. So I really do appreciate you coming on today.
No, I really appreciate that, man.
No problem. Not to be a big old raging Tobes in here or anything. My God.
Nah, that's the point though. Like, I think it's important to acknowledge like good and like really good emotional moments and learn from that, you know?
Was that part of the reason why you came to YouTube? I mean, so you can kind of live publicly, and there's a lot of vulnerability when it comes to video making. You know, you could have easily done a non-face cam type show. You know, you could have done a channel that was all just your voice because you are hilarious. You're a fantastic writer as far as I can find. You know what I mean? You could have done things in a completely different way, but you chose to put yourself out there and just embrace any of the vulnerability or anything like that. Why did you choose to do that? Was it just so you can continue to keep yourself in that mindset, or was it more of just fuck it, let them all deal with the type of deal?
It was a lot of different reasons. I think the main ones were I could do voice stuff, but then I would have to try and figure out what to fucking do, and I'm a bit of a like the better term, I'm an artsy bitch. And I'm like, I don't want to just throw it fucking CSGO gameplay. I don't fucking play CSGO. And I don't want to have another character because I can't draw. Right. I don't want to pay anybody to draw. So it's like, you know what? Fucking whatever, man. They're going to see my fucking self. They got to deal with it. I'll answer and deal with whatever that comes afterwards. No biggie.
Right. What's probably the worst experience you've had with YouTube up to this point? Any person stepping over the line, getting too familiar? What's the worst thing you've had to deal with?
Nothing super bad like that has taken place that I can really say is a big super deal, but lots of little things, I suppose. Just like you said, people kind of overstepping a boundary or not knowing how to talk to me, and then me having to be like, "Hey, dude, not like that," and then being like, "What do you mean?" Fucking, I'm trying to be, and I'm like, "Okay, man. I'm just saying."
Just pump the brakes there, Charlie. Just a little bit. Yeah, no, I feel you.
I've had a few crazy things though.
Give me one. Let's get one out there.
All right. So, I don't know if I want to name names, but there was a guy who, what did he got really upset that I was like joking about something, and he was trying to say that I was a bad YouTuber, that he couldn't trust me anymore, that it was this big like, I looked up to you, you were an inspiration. I was like, whoa, dude. Okay.
I'm not your messiah, buddy.
That's not what I didn't want to be.
Well, you're going to be whether you want to be or not, you know? I mean, it's...
Apparently.
No, I mean, look, the thing is, you're an advocate, whether you want to be or not. I mean, like, anybody who puts himself out publicly, and we are public figures, that have any sort of disability or just difference in general. I mean, whether it's somebody who has really weird looking skin, or like Sweet Anita, the chick with the Tourette's, you know, the really cute, gorgeous like chick who just has this hilarious case of fucking Tourette's, and she completely embraces it. Whether you want to be or not, you're a representative. Do you feel any added pressure with that? Do you even think about it? Because it doesn't seem like you even care about that. That's not even something that you go for at all.
No, because you're right. I think you are right, and that's something I need to accept. Is that as much as I really don't want to push that, like I am unfortunately in that position where I have a bigger voice, whether or not I want to acknowledge it. But Yeah, it's not something that's super pushed because I just at the end of the day, I want you to see that as just a part of me and not me.
Right. It's just something that's here, but my content is what I want you to care about.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's
and if I can make it work, then yeah, fine, cool.
Right.
it blends together.
Yeah, like you did again. Not to go back to the same last video, but you. Oh, thank you very much, Lepa Messiah, for the subscription here on the YouTube. So I appreciate that. But I mean, you embraced it fully, and you told a story that for a lot of people would be very vulnerable. I mean, the something that you've always had with you is your chair. And you told a story where you were taken away from it for an entire, day of crazy fucking activities.
Yeah,
that's pretty incredible. And you're able to kind of bring both things to the forefront together. You have your comedic side, your YouTube, and then you have the story that perfectly suits the YouTube. Do you do that a lot? Do you feel that you tell a lot of stories that are connected to your situation, or do you try to be more skit based? Do you try to tell stories about other people? Because you're not exactly commentary. I mean, you do talk about some things going on, in the community and stuff. But I don't. What would you consider yourself, as a matter of fact?
That's a really good question. I don't know. I think it started as I have some funny stories that I like to tell that I think would make for put out there for everybody to listen to. But I do feel naturally like I could work with a writing team if in a scenario for comedy shit. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Because I have skit ideas and stuff.
Oh yeah, I think that's very clear. Now, I feel up to this point, I've asked you a lot of questions you've probably gotten in the past, and that's cool and everything. But let me ask you, and I like to ask this periodically. Yeah. I don't do it every interview. What's the one thing you never get asked that you kind of ask yourself? Why the fuck don't I get to ask this question? I feel it's the most interesting thing about me. Why don't anybody else come to this conclusion? Do you have that question? Do you have something that you wish you're waiting for some beautiful bearded Pokemon loving fat shit to ask you? Does it exist?
If it did, it's definitely something with movies.
Yes. Which we're about to get to too, because Tobes told me if I did not talk to you about movies, he would never suck me, and I have to let that happen. I mean, you don't get to let a gay rab fucking blow you too many times, so I'm taking advantage of that.
It's true.
Right?
No, absolutely. I don't blame you.
So you want the movie questions? That's the one that you're looking for that you wish people would ask you a little bit more about?
Yeah, a little bit secretly.
All right, well, let's go there for a few minutes, and then we'll go to. Believe it or not, we have already been talking for 40 minutes, and I am fucking dumbfounded by that. I am really just absolutely enjoying this conversation. I got some. We'll do some stuff with the YouTube-based shit. I want to talk to you about some of the people that you might want to collab with, and some of the things that are happening currently with YouTube. But we'll get to that in a moment. Because let's go to that. Movies. That's your passion, right? Movies and of that nature. That's your passion.
Oh yeah. It's definitely.
Has it always been that way? I mean, it's an obvious question. It's, with a lot of time that you have on your hands because of everything you have to go through. Movies was probably that security blanket, something you can always put on. What were some of your go-tos as a child?
Oh man. Oh geez. I really loved movies like Secret of Nim, Watership Down, but I like the Disney Renaissance movies too, Aladdin.
Disney Renaissance movies. I've never heard that term. That's man, you're not even all that younger than me, and you just Disney Renaissance movies. I have and you went right to Aladdin with it too, because I was like, Disney Renaissance movies? What period would that be? Then you went Aladdin. I'm like, oh, okay, that's the Renaissance of Disney. I'm sorry, please continue. That threw me for a loop for a second. That was great.
No. Even that I could be fucking that up possibly. But
it's a brilliant term. It's a brilliant term. It's perfect. It really is.
But yeah, so it ranged too, because I definitely was allowed to watch shit that I had no business watching. But Like I watched a lot of horror movies when I was younger.
Yeah, I was a big horror kid myself. My dad was the.
Oh, I still am.
Oh,
yeah,
me
it's
too.
my favorite.
Yeah, I've gotten a
It's
little
fucking
bit big
so
of a
good.
pussy the older I've gotten. Unfortunately, I attribute that to Iraq mainly because I can't deal with noises. I can't deal with fucking jump
Yeah,
scares
that's
and all
fair.
that. I'm really bad with it.
Oh
now.
yeah, no, that's fair.
But I grew up, my dad was a piece of shit. And so when I did see him, which was not very often, it was either baseball game, wrestling, we watch wrestling, or horror movie. And like, so I'm watching like Hellraiser and all kinds of shit when I'm just this fucking kid. What type of horror kind of gets you going? What's the genre? As we know now, Jesus, horror's all over the fucking map. Some people would say that horror is at its low point. I don't know if I agree with that personally, but what type of horror do you really kind of go for?
I really love psychological like thrillers a lot. I like something that like kind of is very suspenseful and it gets you thinking. It's not always having to be the I don't know. Like my personal favorite horror movie is really like either you love it or you hate it, but I fucking love the Blair Witch Project.
I have an interesting little anecdote on that. Why do you love the Blair Witch Project?
I think it was a mixture of how authentic and real it felt, and I really, when I watch a movie, I really put myself in it. Like I make sure to just kind of be in it. So I went in with a good attitude. It was late at night, by myself in the house,
Oh, no.
and fucking terrifying. It was fucking so scary.
I remember that whole period where it was real. You know, they marketed it so fucking, and it wasn't until the MTV Music Awards or the Movie Awards the following year that it all got busted. You know, because they showed up, they were there, and that's kind of when it became all right. So this whole thing was bullshit. I mean, I was sick with it, dude. I was like researching it. I was so bad with it because I believed it.
It was fucking brilliant.
I hadn't even seen the movie yet. That was the thing. Like I had only heard about it and I was reading articles because this was the pseudo early days of the internet. And I was just like reading things constantly about it. And it wasn't until 2000, I would say, I think, where I finally did see it. Yeah, it was 2000. Yeah, 2001. And it was in Washington State in the middle of the fucking woods. And my now fucking ex-stepfather's brother, and I don't care if they're still alive because they're pieces of shit. It was in his double wide trailer. It was just me and his wife, I think his ex-wife now as well. And she showed me this movie in the fucking woods. But she went all out, dude. She made this an experience for me. So what she did, she knew I was coming, and she made a bunch of those fucking totems. She made a bunch of these goddamn and just like I didn't know, she would like go get popcorn and then she'd like hang a couple up. And the worst part was she started putting piles of rocks outside of every door and window. I was so fucking terrified. Never in my life has a movie done that to me because of the experience, which is my long-winded way of going to my next question that has to do with all this. Experience. Sometimes it's not just about the content that you're seeing, but the experience in which you're watching. How important is, especially with cinema, for you to be having those right experiences to enjoy the movie to its fullest capacity?
Oh, it's so important. It is very fucking important. I am all about like the like you need to make sure a movie is an experience. And sometimes like you don't even need to be super into it. Like it's not like a sit down in the movie theater. Some movies are absolutely, but other ones work better when you're like, oh yeah, that's like a slumber party, like you're with your friends and it's on and you know you're having a few beers and like it works better than that, you know.
Like what Twister tried to do when it came out, where they had certain theaters. I was lucky enough to be at a theater that had high powered wind machines that were blowing out.
Oh, yeah.
I remember this. It was a crazy thing. Do you find yourself trying to emulate that a little bit with your own content? Like, do you try to bring people to a different experience and not just talking? Because I know you use a lot of memes and stuff in your content. Yeah. Is that part of the experience? Do you try to take people on that same type of journey? Do you use those lessons?
Yeah, a little bit. I try to keep it as far as what I think would work best. And I don't know. It works really well having that cinema mind and pacing and whatnot.
Yeah, I can definitely. I mean, because if you can see it in that context, you want to be able to bring it to your own content. It probably gives you a little bit of an advantage.
Oh, for sure.
Are there any trends in YouTube or in film, like the mainstream, that you wish would either be adapted or adopted by the other, or trends that you wish that would completely go away in either medium, cinema or YouTube?
I would love, in theory, if the film industry would take on what YouTube has, and people that actually are passionate for something. But that's the thing, I guess they kind of equally play out that way, and that a lot of what's put forward isn't always the best and is probably way overdone and doesn't need to be.
Right.
I like smaller things that have a lot of love in them and a lot of effort.
You're an indie movie darling favorite, aren't you? That's well, I should have guessed that with the Blair Witch fucking with the answer of that. Yeah. Is it just because it doesn't have the overproduced garbage that we have in Hollywood, or is it more about connecting to the filmmaker a little bit easier in those independent movies?
It's a little bit of both. I've always my personal thing is that if I can feel the amount of love and effort you put into whatever it is, whether it be music, movie, a YouTube video, I'll respect it, and I'll have a liking for it. Even if I don't get it, I can at least understand it.
Yeah.
But if I can feel like that you didn't try your best, or this is just a empty hollow shell with a nice painting over it, I'm just gonna be like, okay.
Right. It's like, what's the point on that? It's like, why am I watching this? Why do I got to pay $20? I don't get that at all. No, I totally understand.
Yeah.
Couple rapid fire questions in the movie world. Want to have a little bit of fun?
Yeah, dude. Let's do it.
2018, best movie that you saw. And give me a couple if you can't think of just one.
Oh, Mandy. Mandy, hands down. Okay. Best fucking movie.
I don't know, man. What is Mandy? What is this? I don't know this one. I'm assuming horror. Sounds horror.
Yes. Yes, it is. It's more of an experience than anything, because it's, even if I just explain it, it's still not going to get really. So it's Nicolas Cage. Oh,
okay. All right. Okay. I like that, because I do like Nick.
Yeah. Oh, he's fantastic.
Because he's so good at being Nick Cage. He's fantastic at it.
And this is the most recently one of the best roles I have seen him in ever, and it's probably one of my favorites.
Yeah.
He pretty much, this cult comes in, murders his girlfriend, and he gets revenge. And I know that's very on the nose, but it's way more than that. It's very nice, artsy looking, and also pretty brutal.
So it's kind of like John Wick, but horror related, sort of?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like if John... I even did a review on this, and I think I made a comparison to John Wick meets Rob Zombie's House of a Thousand Corpses.
Oh, that paints a picture. That fucking paints a picture. Now, I wouldn't I know Nick has done a few horror. I loved 8mm, which is a horror, but more psychological thriller, really.
Great.
But fantastic fucking flick. There's been a few. We don't have to talk about the bees or anything like that. Fucking hell. But what is it about Nick Cage, man? Because I would say people are very torn on Nick Cage for the most part. Either they love the fact that he's so good at Nick Cage, or they love the fact that he's so good at being Nick Cage. Because arguably the only person who's better at being themselves for a living is Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd is the best. Like, my God, he's only good at being Paul Rudd. Why do you think it's fucking crazy? What do you think about that? And why do you think they work?
Okay, so I even say, and just gonna keep plugging myself.
Go ahead, man, plug away.
In my Mandy review, in terms of Nicolas Cage, because I do acknowledge that people either love him or they hate him, really. Right. But to me, like, an actor is only really as good as their director.
Yeah.
Because it's like a tool. You know, if you don't know how to use it, it's not going to be fucking good.
Right.
You're not going to know how to use it. So Nicolas Cage, he's a good actor when you have a good director, because the dude can act. It's just maybe you don't know how to use that to the best of your ability.
Is Mandy Nick Cage's best film?
It's easily, for me, that I've seen in a while, but I like Raising Arizona. That's my favorite.
You like the darker Nick Cage.
Oh my God, yeah.
You like the darker Nick Cage. Give me a couple more of it would be, round out your top 5 for Nick Cage movies.
Oh, okay. Mandy, Raising Arizona. Face Off. He was in Face. That's right.
I'm Castor Troy. Hell yeah, yeah. Fantastic. Love Face Off.
Fucking goddamn that movie. Forever. National Treasure.
Yay! There we go. Okay. All right. What's the last one?
And just because specifically Ghost Rider 2.
All right, you know what? I don't hate that. I don't hate that because I felt like I'm the only person who actually liked him as Ghost Rider, but I felt he worked. He worked. It worked. It made sense to me. Yes, I fucking love it. To date, he's my favorite iteration of Ghost Rider. I know there hasn't been a ton of them, but to me, he really did a good job with that role. But nobody ever gives him credit for fucking for Ghost Rider. I'm just glad you didn't say Con Air, because I fucking hate Con Air. I hate that movie with a fiery goddamn passion. Good God. Oh yeah. And I don't know why. It's got a great cast. I mean, it is a loaded movie with talent. It's just all over. But I feel that's kind of the hallmark of the movie. It's fucking all over the place. And I can never. I do like buff Nicolas Cage though. I'm not gonna deny that shit. Yeah. Man, he in that role, I could have saw Superman. You know what I mean? The body type, which I could have saw that Nicolas Cage.
To happen.
God damn, Nicolas Cage and Tim fucking Burton. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
I want that so bad.
Oh God, especially if they would have used the script written by Kevin Smith. Would you consider that as one of the big misses that you would have liked to have seen from Hollywood?
Oh, absolutely. Jesus, yes. I love Kevin Smith. I'm a very big Kevin Smith fanboy.
Me too.
So I would
right behind me. I'm a little bit of a fan myself.
Oh, he's great. He's fucking great. I love everything he does.
Maybe the greatest storyteller of our generation. I'm never going to fucking make the case that Kevin Smith is a fantastic director. I will never he won't make that fucking case. But from a storytelling standpoint and from a writing standpoint, he is phenomenal. Some of the best stories you're ever going to hear. The John Peters story, the Prince story, the Anal Fisher story. There are just so many. Do you try to emulate his style at times? I know I do.
Oh, yeah.
Just because I feel from a naturalistic standpoint and storytelling about like the human, I hate using this phrase, but the human condition, there are very few people that are as good as he is. Do you try and really make that part of you as well?
Oh, definitely. For sure. Kevin Smith, you could listen to the man talk for like hours. Yep. And you wouldn't even realize that you were there for that long. It would just feel like fucking 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Just because of how naturally good he is at telling a story and talking. And And there's always something grander behind it. You know, it always, you can take away something from life and while laughing along the way. That's fucking cool.
It is. It's a really neat thing because he has that vulnerability about him because he's brutally honest. I mean, he's very self-deprecating, which is something that I think a lot of us kind of share in the community. We're kind of, a lot of edgy people I notice are very, very self-deprecating in general. But it's that vulnerability, I think, what a lot of people can connect with. You know, the fact that he never made any qualms about the fact that the only reason why he made a movie is because he felt he never had one that really represented him and talked to him as a viewer. Do you kind of feel that same way about your own content? Do you make this content more for yourself than you do for other people?
I find that at some points, yeah. I definitely get to a point where I think, is it more done for them or is it done for me because of the jokes I'll make? I'll tell one joke that I know is strictly only going to make me laugh.
Yeah.
But other people actually sometimes end up liking that joke.
Do you think a lot of people out there kind of take it too far nowadays? We're seeing this, especially in the upper echelon of YouTube, where a lot of creators are starting to go more personal. I know we saw it with the vlogging stuff and everything, but it seems to be taking another step forward where now everyone has an admission of something going on, whether it be mental illness or mental health and all that type of shit.
Yeah, oh God, yeah.
Do you feel that's become more of a crutch than anything else at this point? And maybe it's been taken too far as a shield?
Oh, definitely. For sure. I think 100%, yeah. Because there comes a point where is it really the issue or is it something that you want that to be? Because I don't know. I don't want to say anybody doesn't have it because I do take mental health actually very serious. And I think that's why it bothers me so much.
Yeah.
Seeing people, you know, have such very open-ended, not well thought out opinions.
Right. Because not everybody can be clinically depressed. And it feels like everybody is clinically depressed. You know, everybody is trying to, as soon as they get in any sort of shit, any sort of adversity, any sort of sadness, like people can't just be sad anymore. Nobody can be upset. It's got to be, no, I'm depressed. I have fallen into this spiral of depression, and that's all there is. They've never, I think that 90% of these people have not even seen a doctor. But we have this culture where everybody's telling you you're depressed. Everybody's got to be in therapy. Does that kind of piss you off? Because I could see something like that just fucking aggravating you and someone who's been through the things that you go through on a daily fucking basis. And you got to see this stuff. You got to see these YouTubers who are successful. And a lot of times they were the good looking kids in school. And this is what you have to fucking see. Is that one of the most enraging things on YouTube currently?
Oh, yeah. Especially when it comes to like people who just say how hard it can be, and it's like is it hard? Is it really? really? Tell me more about how hard it is, please. I would really love that. I can totally relate to you. You have such a hard life.
Let me put my wheelchair closer to the screen so you can fucking tell me more about how hard your life is, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah, and I can imagine that would make me crazy. It's what everybody's using nowadays. How much do you want to fucking bet Jake Paul and fucking Rice Gum are probably going to use depression about why they're fucking supporting a goddamn company that's ripping kids off?
Oh, for sure. I could see that. It'll happen. I was in a bad place. I wasn't thinking.
Jesus. Nerd City put out a tweet about an hour before the show showing some of the latest things of Jake Paul. I love this tweet so much because Shane Dawson, you know, in a lot of people's eyes, humanized Jake Paul. And kind of put the narrative out there that he's kind of misunderstood. Do you think this is going to end up being one of the biggest backfires down the line? Because in the short term, maybe it worked a little bit, but in the long term, really all Shane did was bring more people to Jake Paul that he could fucking manipulate and take advantage of. Do you think that's ultimately going to be the legacy of what Shane Dawson did with Jake Paul?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, that's kind of what it looks like because, you know, I don't know. I didn't go in with the intention of that series changing how I viewed him.
Right.
I just more was like, I'm going to see what Shane thinks of him. Because that's ultimately what you're getting. And I don't know why a lot of people didn't understand that or like, because that's the thing. You're not getting a raw, unfiltered version. You know, this is somebody who spent time with him to get personal. So obviously he's going to kind of lean a bit more towards the positive side because that's just kind of how Shane is. He's kind of a nice guy. And I think that's kind of his problem, though, is that he's a little too nice.
See, I'm the one person who doesn't think he's a nice guy. I
Really?
fight with Tobes all the time. Yeah, I don't. I never have. I think he's transparent. I think you could see right through this fucking guy. I don't buy the good guy. I'm just trying. No, he's just as greedy and fucking hungry and cutthroat as anybody else. And the fact that at the time that he did the timing of the Jake Paul thing is what made me feel that way. That this is just fucking gutter trash. And you know, Jake was pushing the narrative that he learned from the stuff, that like that his eyes have been open. There's been no eye opening. This motherfucker, and I'll go to this once again. This will be the last time I ever fucking say this. I promise you all, because you've heard me say it enough times. When he had that fight, when he beat Deji, and he had the floor, Logan lost, or he tied in his fight, and Logan, I thought, did a fantastic job in the post-fight interview. Jake had the exact same opportunity. In fact, he had a better opportunity because he went on before Logan. He could have talked about all the things that he learned as a human being during the course of this training and getting ready for this, and the new Jake Paul and all. What did he do? He shilled a limited edition fucking t-shirt. That's what he did. This is who he is. He is a soulless marketing machine and nothing else. That there is no hidden depths to Jake Paul at this point. And it's part of the reason why that fucking documentary pissed me off so much. Because Shane did exactly what I thought he was going to do. He brought a new fan base over that now look at Jake with a brand new fresh pair of eyes. And what happened? He fucking helped get him ripped off by a corporation. Get the fuck out of here.
Nope, that's fair, man. That makes sense.
Didn't mean to rant. I'm sorry. I got very angry.
No, dude. No, that's fair. Get it out.
Now you're going to become my therapist for the rest. Just get it out.
Yeah.
It's a safe space, Dave. We're here for you. So we covered a little bit of the movie stuff. And I want to get to more YouTube stuff in a moment, too. Sorry if I'm going a little bit back and forth. But I did want to ask you.
No, you're good. You're good.
You specifically brought up directors earlier. So let me ask this question. We'll go back to YouTube. Favorite directors all time and favorite directors working today?
All time, I love, like I said, I'm a bit of a fanboy for Kevin Smith.
Yeah, goes without saying.
Yeah, George A. Romero, I love.
All right.
The Night of the Living Dead, you know, Day of the Dead. I love the zombie movies.
Was that one of the first ones that popped your cherry in horror?
Oh yeah, easily.
Do you like the original or the remake, the one a little bit later on, or you like the old school, the real original?
The only remake of any of his films I ended up liking was the Zack Snyder Day of the Dead.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Or Dawn of the Dead, I mean.
Yeah, arguably one of the best remakes in movie history. It's a really strong movie.
It was good. It was one of the only few times I'll accept a zombie running in a movie.
Yeah. Yeah, especially when you look at the original Romero model too, where some of the zombies, just the first zombie that we see in Dawn of the Dead, or not Dawn of the Dead, Night of the Living Dead, he almost looks like a human, and he's moving fairly well. And then we get the other the more corpse-like zombies later on. But that first one's bashing in fucking cars with his fucking car windows and shit with his hands and stuff. He went full, like, almost looked like Frankenstein too. It's just kind of weird.
Yeah, no, you're right.
A little strange. Every time I rewatch them, do you feel that that the original zombie movies of that time period still hold up today, or they need to be remade?
No, they don't touch him. I am all about don't touch things. Just try and make it as similar as you can. Just don't redo it if it's good.
Right. But with
they hold up still.
Yeah, I agree with that overall. I mean, especially Dawn of the Dead. I would think of the series of all the Dead movies, Dawn of the Dead was probably the one that didn't need to be remade the most. You know, it was a little bit more current. It had a little bit the stylization of it when it came out and all that. It didn't really need to be touched, but they kind of came out of nowhere with it, and then they hit a home run. I love that movie. I still love that remake. It's still just a good flick.
Oh, definitely. It's one of the better remakes, and now you should do one.
And it's kind of different from the core, subject of the original movie. You know, I mean, aside from, being in the same location and all that, but the social interactions I felt were a lot more in depth in the remake, and obviously played a much bigger role towards the end of the movie. I felt they really hit it a lot harder. Do you think it's important when people do remakes, whether it's in YouTube where you're taking somebody else's content idea, or, there's no original ideas anymore, or more specifically with movies, how important is it to bring some of your own originality and spin to any subject that you're working on?
Important. It's priority to me in my brain, because unpopular opinion, I will use this as an example. Okay. The Rob Zombie Halloween remake, to me, are a good go-to what a remake should be.
Really?
Because, only in the sense of you take what's there and you work with it in your own way.
Right.
Like, that doesn't mean you're going to like it, all the time, but you at least respect that they did their own thing.
I felt he did such a good job with the first one. I liked the first one a lot. I felt maybe they went a little bit hard on the opening. The first 40 minutes, the whole backstory of little Michael and everything, I felt was a little draggy. But overall, I really enjoyed that flick. The second one, though, what the fuck? What?
Yeah, he definitely went on an artsy way, even for me.
Yeah. This is one of my favorite franchises of all time, by the way. I love Halloween with a passion. It's always been one.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And have you seen the new one? The only official sequel actually now. Have you seen that yet?
Yeah. No, I haven't yet. Not because I don't want to. I'm a little apprehensive, I will admit, though.
Why? I got to ask you why. This is interesting to me.
It happens every time. I hate being that guy. I really do. Where somebody says, "Oh, dude, this movie's really good," and I hear it from a bunch of other people. Yeah. And then I watch it, and I'm like, "Oh man, that wasn't that good." it happens. I want it to be good. I really do. I want it to be good.
Yeah.
I want every movie to be good, but it doesn't always happen. And I'm scared because I heard good things about it.
Have you heard about obviously the same thing I just said about the sequel thing? That's something you don't see a lot. You don't see a franchise that's been around for fucking 40 years now, getting the type of treatment that they did with this most recent iteration, where they effectively wipe out everything that came off after the original movie, including the movie that takes place the same night in Halloween 2. They wipe out everything that because the first movie, they don't mention anything about Michael Myers being Laurie Strode's brother. It never happened.
No.
There was a lot that they would expound upon in the sequels that didn't exist in the first. What do you think about them making that decision? Do you wish that would happen more in some franchises? Do you need this type of reboot? Or do you feel it was kind of like a little bit of a cop-out because no more ideas could have been done by going down the same path that they had gone for 40 years?
I think from a story point, it makes sense because goddamn, the Halloween story, if you go in order, it's fucking. It goes down a weird. What the fuck?
Next thing we know, Paul Rudd's in a movie. His debut movie. His debut movie.
Yeah. No, that's what I was gonna say. It's like the moment Paul Rudd shows up in your franchise, you have to be like, "Oh, what are we doing?"
They ran out of so many ideas. They're like, you know what? We need to bring back the kid from the first movie, Tommy. Who could play him? Oh, here's this guy, Paul Rudd. Is he an actor? No, he works down the hall, but he's a really funny guy. I think we should have him in the fucking movie. That's what it felt like. It was so out of nowhere. This guy, and he was so bad in that movie. And I love Paul Rudd, by the way. I'm a big fan of his. But God, is he awful in that movie.
It was so bad.
It's just terrible. I'm going to give you a quick sell. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, like, yeah, no. I could go with that. Another one that you should check out if you haven't. The new Chucky movies are really good.
No, I can't. Yeah. I stopped watching after Bride because I grew up with Child's Play and everything. But you're gonna convince me. Convince me on this one.
So check it out. Listen, they had all of the storyline. They're all canon. Every single movie is still canon, and it's a continuation from everything.
Oh.
And they got the original director, they got the original actors, and everybody is in it, and they continue it forward. They even bring back a lot of old school actors.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and they do it in a way that is really fucking cool. They made it work. I didn't think that they could, but they fucking did.
Well, I remember I watched about 2 minutes of The Seed of Chucky. And I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I tried.
Still canon too.
Is it really?
This one's a bit. And you know what's crazy? This is what's insane. Is that the director is still continuing the mainline story, but they're giving it a reboot.
Okay.
So there's going to be 2 versions of Chucky out there.
Oh, real? Also, are they going multiverse?
That's a good question. I think the original director said that he didn't have anything to do with it. That he was like, they wanted me to do it, and I was like, no, I'm still working on it right now.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny. The first 2 Child's Play are iconic. They're both really good flicks. And I think that, honestly, the second one stands up better than the first one when you watch it today. The third, you know, Chucky goes to boarding school. I don't know if it was like,
yeah, it's a time.
It was a little bit rough, but still, they've always been fun, campy movies. So I don't see that's the type of franchise I think where you can kind of go anywhere you want to go with. And it's like Michael Myers ain't ever going Hawaiian. You know what I mean? It's like they're not going to go. No. It's Waikiki Hawaii style or Halloween style. I don't see that fucking happening. But yeah, so you got to see Halloween. By the way, you got to see the new one, man. I'm not even going to try and tell you that it's fantastic or phenomenal, no matter what my own beliefs of the movies are. And after you see it, I want to have another conversation with you. I'd actually like to watch it with you because because I'm sick like that. I want to know what you're thinking while you're watching it because they go some really cool places, man. They really do. They go some interesting directions with the flick, and they do it in a way where it's not ham-fisted. There's no cop-outs. There's a lot of callbacks, but not even just the first movie. They do things that happen in all the movies that they have negated, but they do it in such a cool fucking way, man. I don't know if it's just because, you know, Carpenter got a little bit more involved in the process or what, but I mean, for my money, there's not much better out there ever than Carpenter.
No, that's fair. No, Carpenter's a legend. He's great.
He was the only one who saw the magnificence that was Kurt Russell in the best fucking way. Gave us the greatest facial hair moment in the history of movie and The Thing with Kurt Russell and that goddamn beard. It's the whole reason why I have a beard to this day.
I can't even blame you.
Whole reason. Because I just want to be Kurt in that movie with that fucking beautiful I can get lost in that beard.
Oh, it's so good.
It really is. Final movie question. We talked about the directors that you love from the past. Who's best working right now?
Oh man, that's a.
Who's some of your go-tos? Who are you watching at the moment?
I love everything Edgar Wright does. He's fantastic. I mean Tarantino. I know that's kind of a go-to.
Right.
Like, nobody's ever surprised, but like genuinely, I fucking every one of his movies, amazing. I like a lot of indie movies as of lately, and I'm watching a lot of people start up their careers, and I want to see where they go.
Right.
Because I like seeing people start off. Your first movie is always going to be their passion, love one, I feel.
Take a little journey, you know?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So any other director? I'm going to bring Tobes in at some point as soon as we're done with the next conversation that I have, because I know he's just, his butthole is dripping at this point. My God, I can feel how much he wants in. Holy Lord. Any other directors or any other movies that you want to put over from 2018? And what are you most looking forward to from 2019, either in cinema or from YouTube itself?
Other movies that I would recommend from 2018, Hereditary. That was another really good fucking horror movie. Mom and Dad, another Nicolas Cage horror movie, but it's done in a dark comedy way, and it's really fucking funny.
We got 2 Nick Cage horror movies in the same year.
I know, and they were both really good.
That's funny. That's incredible to me. Like, I can't even believe that. I'm going to have to watch both of those. I really want to watch Mandy. You sold me on that.
Yeah, if you, like I say, I don't condone anything, but if you watch that under the influence of something, it doesn't not help.
Fair enough. But maybe when I get back to the States, I'll get myself a good little herbal supplement and enjoy that movie. But I got a feeling LSD might be a little bit better for a flick like that, but I'm too afraid of it.
God, yeah.
I don't want to get stuck. Yeah. I'm afraid of acid. My God, I'll get stuck like that. No, I'm good.
But next year?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So there's a movie coming out a little while after my birthday called The Man Who Killed Hitler and Then the Bigfoot. And I'm not joking. That's a real movie. Yeah, that's a real movie.
Oh my God!
Guess what it's about?
I'm wondering. I'm completely fucking lost here. Oh my God!
Are you ready? Here you go. Check it out.
Hit me.
Listen.
All right.
It's about the man who killed Hitler.
Yep.
And then he kills the Bigfoot.
Get the fuck out of here! I would have never have guessed.
Dude, I know.
That's fucking amazing. That's really good.
And apparently, it's actually really good.
Really?
It's been out for a little bit in like smaller screenings, and it's been doing extremely well. It's actually a pretty serious film, I guess.
I can't, like, all I can think about is that fucking YouTuber from a few years ago who did video after video about getting sexually assaulted by Bigfoot, by different big feet. By a bunch of female big feet. This is a true thing. This is a true thing. There's a guy. This is a real thing. Yeah, I almost covered the story about a few months ago. This was a long time. Tommy covered it, as a matter of fact, where this guy, he keeps getting raped by Bigfoot. It's
what a world, man. I guess we all have it hard in our own way, right?
And some people a little bit harder than others. I don't know if it gets harder than a Yeti dick. I'm not sure.
I don't know. I would love to, see.
You want to study it?
Yeah.
Take the Pepsi challenge, see whose dick works better, yours or the Yetis. That'd be fucking amazing. My God.
Can you tell the difference? The Pepsi Code Challenge.
That one is gonna get you age restricted if you make a video on that.
I put it up on Pornhub. It'll be fine.
Smart man, and that's why you're going places, my friend. That's why you're going places. All right, switch gears just a little bit to YouTube, and then we're gonna take a couple calls, and we'll get out of here. I think you've given me almost an hour and a half up to this point, man. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
You're not uncomfortable or anything. You're good to go for a few more minutes.
Oh God, yeah. Let's do it.
Good shit. All right, so one of the most interesting things that I think that probably, if I'm speaking for you or guessing for you, one of the coolest experiences that had to have happened was your interaction with Ricky Berwick and ColeoIsCrazy, with the tweet that we used in the thumbnail today, as a matter of fact. How did that go down? Is it just a meme? Do you talk to Colossal? Have you ever thought about maybe collabing with Colossal? What happened with that, with you, Ricky Berwick, and ColeoIsCrazy?
Oh, so Ricky was getting a little, see, that's the thing. Everybody asks what's me relationship, right?
Right.
And truth is, I do love the guy. He's a good dude.
Yeah.
But everybody has a character flaw.
And what's Ricky's?
He gets way too big for his fucking britches.
Woo! I think a lot of people would agree with that. Ricky, come on, Dead on Dave Live and fucking prove us all wrong. Come slum it with me. All right, continue.
And that motherfucker forgets where he comes from sometimes. And he needs to be reminded that at the end of the day, you're just a fucking weird Quasimodo bitch. No,
I love Ricky so fucking much, man. I really do.
I can say what everyone's thinking. Nobody can fucking make me feel bad.
No, look, if there's one person who can fucking say whatever they want about Ricky and not have to worry about any repercussions, it's you. You've got the inside track. There's very few people who are in this very unique situation that you're in. So you guys were going back and forth on Twitter. Why did ColeoIsCrazy weigh in?
Because that's the thing. Colossal is on my side as well. And that Ricky is a fucking mutant freak and needs to relax a little bit. And so he'll come in and be like, Ricky, you realize that, like, you're dumb. Like, he's way, like, better than that, you know?
Because you don't have to resort to shoving cookies up your ass, you know. It's just like nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. There is content out there for ask for every seat, ask for every cookie in this fucking case. But no, you guys are very different. Do you? I honestly, I can't even put you guys in the same category as types of creators. I think you're completely different.
I wish everybody had that.
No, because look, for lack of a better word and term here, it's like they see cripple. That's it. Just lump them in together, and that's not right. There's no critical thought there.
No, you're right.
Does that piss you off when people just kind of lump you guys into like the one group?
Oh, definitely. I mean, that was kind of the issue at the very beginning because we unintentionally. At least it wasn't like a coordinated thing, obviously. Started picking up on Twitter around the same time. But in different formats, in different ways. I was also replying to other YouTubers and it's like, you know, just like having a conversation or joking around. Like adding on to a joke or like, you know, being, you know, a person where Ricky was just like, hey, and then spits on himself.
Yeah, and tongue flick. Fake. Yeah.
So like, it's just he's got a bit more attention, rightfully so. Not necessarily good attention, but it worked.
Were you surprised at the growth that Ricky has gone through over the last year and some change? I mean, I've known Ricky for a while, and he's had some bouts of success at different times, but it's only gone to a certain point. But in this last, year and a half, the explosion that he's had, is that surprising to you? Considering, I mean, obviously, and this is not to to try and start any discord between you two or anything of that nature. But you see yourself as a completely different type of creator, and it seems like you may not have the most respect for the type of content that he does. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's ultimately what it is. Again, no harm, no foul to him. Like he's doing great. Fucking, I can still like you as a person and not like the shit that you make. Would
you want to collab with
and
him?
Even then, that's what? It's really funny you bring that up because he's been really wanting to do that, and I totally fucking would in the right circumstances.
What's the right circumstances? Let's explore.
I mean, if we could get the meetup to actually happen, because traveling is a bit difficult. We're not super far away from each other, but we are in different countries right now.
Oh yeah, no, that is an issue.
But no, if I would be willing to meet up and do shit for sure, that'd be fun.
What would you?
Because I'm all about. I'm not gonna shit on the dude. That'd be fun to.
Because you said you do like the guy, I mean, so
yeah.
What wouldn't you want to do with Ricky? I mean, we've seen a lot of collabs that Ricky has done. What wouldn't you be willing to do? And not just with Ricky, by the way. This isn't the Ricky Berwick hour or anything of that nature. Any collabs that you might do in the future, which is difficult. I mean, obviously for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But what things who would you like to collaborate with, and what sort of collaborations? And on that, what collaborations would you not want to do? What things are you just not willing to do with Ricky or with anyone else?
I guess with Ricky specifically, I wouldn't want to give in to what people would want to see, because I don't know. Again, artistic integrity.
Right.
Like, I know the first thing people are, oh, dude, race your wheelchairs. Like, that's not.
Or cripple fight. You're gonna want one of the two. Yeah.
Oh my god, dude. I cannot tell you. That's one of my number one pet peeves.
Oh, really?
And I feel like that's one of my I feel like an asshole for it.
Why?
Right? Every time because every time I reply to Ricky, there's always that one dude. As soon as one of us says something sassy to each other, there's always that one guy that fucking replies with the gif of Jimmy and Timmy.
Yeah.
It's like cripple fight every fucking time without fail.
I did it once.
No, it's fair.
I did it once.
I totally understand.
I did it once, and I was like, the worst part. Here's the worst part. This is why I'm an awful person and why I'm stupid as fuck, because I felt clever. That's the worst part of it. I felt like I did something. I'm like, oh, watch what I'm gonna do here. Where's that GIF? And I didn't even look in I actually went to Google and got the GIF off of there, downloaded on my computer.
I'll give you an A+.
Yeah, I went because I'm old and I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah, I did it. I felt really good about it. Then I was like, Then I kind of went back and looked at some threads. It's in every fucking one that you guys interact with. Every single one. Oh my god!
And that's the thing. That's I'm not a total asshole, so I don't want to be oh, fucking way to be original, dude. Because that's the thing. I'm sure every person has that. Yes, I did it, and I hate to shit on that.
No, you should shit on it. I feel terrible that I did it, not because it was a nasty thing or uncouth thing to do. No. Not because I'm better than that. It's not fucking. There's nothing good with that. Zanta Claws just said in the chat, I remember when me and Dave challenged each other to a crippled drag race. Yeah, we were gonna do that. But it's not fair though, because I'm on a cane now. I'm not even on my walker like I used to be. I would dust you, bud.
Yeah.
I'd fucking dust your ass. I dust your ass, son. Plain and simple.
Let's fucking do it.
Yeah, you can ref it. You can ref the whole thing. It'd be fucking amazing.
Hell yeah.
All right, so let me get you out of here on this. Actually, I do want to take Tobes as well. If he's still in there, I'll bring him in because he will cry if I don't bring him in. But this will be the final question I got for you. And this is the easy fucking layup question. It's a question you got to ask at the end of the interview. What is your favorite type of cake? No, I'm kidding. What are you looking forward to most in 2019? What type of growth do you want to see? Do you care about growth at all? Or is this, because this is just kind of your own thing that you do for yourself and all that type of shit? What do you want in 2019? Yeah. Who would you like to work with? And finally, what are you most looking forward to out of YouTube as a platform going forward in 2019?
Oh man. So people I'd like to collab with, my ideal would be probably Gus Johnson and Eddie Burback. Those guys are fucking great. They're hilarious, and I really love the shit that they do. Comedy wise,
Right.
but growth, I don't know. It's a nice thing. It's definitely reassuring, but at the end of the day, I don't want to do something for, numbers.
Yeah.
I like it to be a bit more authentic and real. And but if it translates into something that people like, I'll do more of that, and that's cool to get that. But no pushing for it.
You're not going to commentary in 2019. You're not going to trending topics.
Not unless I feel like I have something unique to say about it.
That's a good answer. That is a good answer because it gives you the perfect cop out. It's like I said, unless I felt here's my unique idea, suck it. So, no, I like that. Okay, good stuff. I appreciate that. All right, continue. Sorry,
but as far as like where I see YouTube in the future, that I try not to think about that actually because that's a scary thought.
Yeah, it really kind of is at this point. It's like what is happening? Do you think that it's possible that YouTube is so different by the time we hit 2020 that it's not even a place for us anymore?
And it could be. That's what is scary.
It is.
Is that you don't know. And with the way things are looking, if anything, it's just going to be extremely difficult to the point where the content isn't going to be able to be the same. So it's just you know what, I'm not doing it anymore.
Yeah, no, fair enough. All right, let's bring in Tobes here because I know he's got some questions for you, and then let's see what he's got, and then we'll say goodbye. Tobes, welcome in. I know you've been waiting with a very wet vagina. What do you got for YoungCripp?
Hi, Tobes.
Hey, Cripp.
Okay.
Every time we're in the voices, I'm in a voice chat with Cripp. We pretend like we want to fuck each other.
You're not
Me
pretending.
More so not pretending.
Yeah,
Exactly. I'm not pretending.
Yeah,
to be honest, I date the fuck out of Cripp. I date the fuck out of Cripp. Not even joking. Everyone, like, I say that sometimes in voice chats, and people say, fuck out of here. But no, I'm genuinely serious. Cripp's like my #1 dude today on YouTube.
Cripp, congratulations. You just hit a fucking major goddamn low in your life. Fuck, man. Jesus, your life couldn't get any fucking worse. Yeah, it could. Like, if you thought that there was like a low that you could not possibly, no, because this motherfucker wants to attach his ample fucking frame onto your goddamn wheelchair. What? You don't have the battery power for that. There's no. What are you gonna do? It's not fucking fission powered. There's no goddamn nuclear reactor in that bitch. It's not Bodyguard in reverse. What are you gonna do, Tobes? My God.
Listen.
Damn. Get a hold of yourself.
Sorry.
If the doctors would have said to me, "Listen, the worst thing in your life is that one, you're not gonna walk for the rest of your life. That's it. You're fucking dead, and your immune system is gone. Your lungs don't work at all. Oh, also, there's this guy who's gonna like you. I'd be more upset about that guy like you.
I think so. Yeah, if that guy's this guy, then you have.
You know it. Listen, that's lies, and you know it. I've been in voice chat with you in Tempest Town, and I have Katie to vouch for me.
Katie? Yeah, which Katie? Yes. There's some Katies that we could take the word of. Others, I don't know so much.
Yeah, it's yo Katie.
No, okay. All right.
Okay.
Fair enough. What do you got for him? Stop fucking trying to fuck him. What do you got for him?
I do have like a plethora of questions.
You get 3. I'm giving you 3. No plethora. No cornucopia. You get no copious. You get 3. We've been live for an hour and 35 minutes. You get 3.
I know. Okay. My first question is YouTube related. So it's mainly like film YouTube related. What do you think of like the channels like The Closer Look, The Nerd Writer, and Now You See Me, or Now You See It?
I like them. I mean that I like seeing different opinions from people or different viewpoints, even if I don't necessarily agree with it, because if I can tell that you at least believe it a little bit, I'll hear you. I won't think you're right. I'll probably think you're stupid, but I'll hear you out.
Is there such a thing as far-fetched when it comes to these channels? Or is it all, justifiable takeaways from the movies they watch?
I guess it depends on what you want from a reviewer. I think some people like a little bit more, again, I think majority of people like a bit more laid back and not so serious kind of thing. That's why people like Jeremy Johns are the top film people.
That is true.
But nothing against the guy, like, hey, he's doing his own thing. But yeah, I guess it depends on what you want.
All right. Is there like sort of a problem with more corporate movie reviews, like say Beyond the Trailer, that deals a lot with the business side of things more than the actual, like more than the actual film itself? Is there a big problem with that, or is that fun?
It's kind of I think you could kind of compare it to things like IGN, where it's like those are everybody's go-to to see a game review, but obviously there's been multiple times where they've maybe not been so honest and trustworthy.
Let me ask you on that too. Do you think that's kind of just part of what happens when someone grows? Because IGN didn't start as the juggernaut that it would become. Just like everything else, it has humble beginnings. So do you think that's just part of growth? And do you think there's a way to avoid that as you grow?
It's very scary. No, that's something that it translates to almost everything.
It does.
Whether it be, like you said, with IGN or even something like a YouTuber.
Right.
You start off very homegrown, very grassroots, and then, you get to a point. And this is one thing I agreed with GameStar about. Like he did a Twitter video about it the other day, saying that that YouTubers reached to a point where they're Hollywood and mainstream, and that grassroots following they had kind of dies off, and they become a bit of a shell, like I said.
Next thing you know, you're selling fucking mystery boxes, and the kids aren't getting their goddamn Yeezys. Trying to figure out what the hell's happening. It's like, oh fuck. Good God. No, that's very
not fraud. It's my depression.
It's coming. My God. I guess if you look at Rice Gum's fucking Social Blade, you can understand the depression in his case. But,
Listen, my social anxiety is really cured by money. Can you guys please help me? It's the only cure.
It's the only fucking cure. Oh, my God. Jesus Christ.
My other question is kind of related to the biggest disappointment I've had on the stream.
Go on.
I'm sorry, but how can you talk about the best directors and not bring up Quentin Tarantino?
He did, motherfucker.
I did. I even made a point to it's kind of a go-to with everybody, but I do like him a lot.
Fucking fake fan. You're a fake fucking. I know you're not the best at fucking listening sometimes, but come on, Tobes. He said it. God, jeez.
All right, fair enough. What's your favorite Quentin Tarantino movie?
There you go.
My favorite Tarantino movie?
Yes, and there is a right and wrong answer, but
From Dusk Till Dawn. You can't tell me otherwise. I'll punch you.
I will tell you otherwise, and it's Inglourious Bastards.
Oh no,
okay,
Tobes.
You want it?
No, Tobes. Baby, no, honey, no, don't do that. Don't do that.
I'm sorry. I might. The reason I really like Inglourious Bastards, maybe it's the fact that I was 10 when my father took me to see it, but but it was there's so much nuance in it that I really like as a film student, I guess. Pretentious fuck you. But there's also if I was to choose just a fun time fucking movie, I'd go with Django.
Django's good.
I can't get I can't get on modern fucking Tarantino as much as I can, you know, but his early days stuff, man. I mean, it's like, granted, and I got to make a little bit of a correction because I was thinking of it when you said it, and then I just had to go confirm it. While Tarantino is huge influencing into Dusk Till Dawn, that is technically a Robert Rodriguez film. Now, they are very interchangeable.
They split.
Yeah, they're very interchangeable parts, and they work so well together and seamless. I love the early stuff. I mean, really up until, I would say, everything after Kill Bill 2 takes on a whole different life, and we become a little bit different Quentin Tarantino, which I'm not even complaining about because I like the way he evolves, but Dusk Till Dawn is hard to argue against if you want to consider it a true blue Tarantino flick. I know he wrote the screenplay, so I mean, you can. But for me, like Reservoir Dogs, man, it's just like, it's almost a perfect movie. It's almost perfect.
It's great, but in certain aspects, it doesn't age as well as it should. It doesn't age as well as Pulp Fiction, for example. And I think Reservoir Dogs is a very strong foundation as like to build upon, even as like your first feature length movie.
It's his least stylistic.
I think what he was, of course. And what he was trying to perfect in Reservoir Dogs, I think he nailed in Pulp Fiction.
I can agree with that from a stylistic and probably like a look standpoint from that visualization. You know, I think you're 100% right. But from writing, acting, and just overall story, I think I got to disagree. Reservoir Dogs doesn't have to go too much. I know there is some out of order, you know, very Tarantino storytelling in that movie, but they don't have to rely on it as heavily as Pulp Fiction. I think as much as I love Pulp Fiction, it's one of my favorite movies of all time. I do feel it gets gimmicky with the way that it's kind of almost a chronicalization, but still within the same universe, and they do end up interacting with each other throughout different times in the film. I think that because Reservoir Dogs doesn't have that same gimmick, it makes it a stronger film for me.
Fair enough.
No, I get where you're coming from.
Yeah. I went way too movie nerd.
What about something? It's basically the first time into the real world he's going, which with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that?
I am very interested to see where it goes. I'm trying not to read too much about it because I really want to be excited when that trailer drops.
Oh, shit. Donna Danny you know what? Donna Danny's right, man. The Hateful Eight might be the actual answer to Quentin Tarantino's best movie. Hateful Eight's fucking bomb, dude. And you know why? We know why. Say it with me. Kurt Russell facial hair. That's what makes it exceptional. Arguably even better than The Thing. Arguably.
I genuinely wanted to bring that up when you said Kurt Russell facial hair.
Because Hateful Eight that's a really good movie, man.
I was even going to ask you if you watch that, because that's definitely him going back a little bit to his older style.
Agreed, 100%. He does go back to it. I forgot about it too, and I really hate myself for forgetting. But yeah, no, you're right. He does. He goes. That is such a good fucking movie. I'm gonna go watch that movie. God damn.
No, it is good. Yeah, it is real good.
I watched it New Year's Eve. I fucking love it.
It's a good flick. All right, Tobes, final things for Mr. Young Cripp, because I'm tired. He's probably tired, and we're both tired of you. So come on.
Oh, okay. Well, kind of a Pavlovian response to me, but it's okay.
It's love. Shut up.
All right. I wanted to touch on more of the horror aspect of your conversation before, and I wanted to get your take on the prestige horror era that we live in at this point. From movies like The Conjuring to even It, like to that extent. Do you think that it's a viable form of horror movie, or should it revert back to what it was originally, or maybe go past it at this point?
Well, we need something different. We do. The mainstream horror is like the stuff that you get in movie theaters is not good. But that's just the only way to put it. Yeah, there are little bumps that are like, oh, that's not too bad. Like, I'm going to be straight up real with you guys. it was just okay to me.
I don't disagree. It was okay.
Bad.
I didn't love it like a lot of people did. It was a good movie though. Wasn't nothing wrong with it. But yeah, nothing groundbreaking. You got to watch Halloween though. I'm serious, man. You got to watch Halloween.
I will. I'll take your word. The only person that I think, and I kind of dread myself saying it because I have very hot take on this film. The only one that I think could save us from that is Jordan Peele as of recently.
Oh, come on. No, I liked you so much.
Yeah, but listen, I'm not saying that I agree with it. I'm just saying he's at least opening that door and showing mainstream horror movie fans that, hey, a horror movie can actually have, like, you know, substance to it. I don't necessarily... I'm going to go out there and say I didn't like Get Out. It wasn't that good.
Right. And now the next movie is called Us. And I'm sure it doesn't mean us as in you and me together. Pretty sure it stands for US. And the third will be Now. I'm pretty sure. Get out of the US now. And he's talking of his fucking demographic. Everybody who says this guy is got depth and he's fucking subtle. He's about as subtle as a fucking tractor.
Oh, no, you're right. No, you're 100% right. I give you that. You're not wrong.
Like, you can make a point that it's an excellent critique of the American way of life, but it's not good movie making.
Yeah, I honestly thought it was gimmicky and cheap, you know, but I do, as much as I'm talking shit on him, he is, you know what he's really great at? And this is it's so important when tone. Motherfucker knows tone.
Yeah.
He knows tone.
Which is why I am like ridiculously excited for Us, even though I didn't like Get Out that much. It was his kind of freshman sort of film. It was his first film, his first horror movie. He might just get better with time, and I know he's taking lessons from people and stuff like that. So I really want him to incorporate most of that, and I think he has a great future in the horror element.
I hope he stays in horror, to be honest. As much as I did not like Get Out, I hope he stays there.
No, and that's the thing. Like, I know he'll at least, and that's the thing. When it comes to movies in Hollywood, money gets put into what people are paying for. Yeah. So the more people spend money on really shitty horror movies, the more those are what's going to be put out in theater. So if you open up the door a little bit with Jordan Peele making something good with value, that more movies like that will be made.
Yeah. I think that's fair. I think that's completely fair. And it's not a bad thing either. You know, I mean, all movies that come out from this point on that are inspired by Jordan Peele is not necessarily going to have the racial tension and undertones and overtones that he had. And I don't think it's necessary either. Although there's nothing wrong with it if it's done in the right way. It's just...
It's show, don't tell.
Politics right now, man. Yeah. I'm so fucking burned out. I'm done with it. It's just fuck, man.
You're right.
I can't. I'm just like, I have no more energy for everything's political. Everything, even the situation right now we're seeing on YouTube with goddamn with Jake Paul and Rice Gum. You have the mainstream media who the way they're covering it from a complete political ideology standpoint. They're trying to convince you this is all about marketing gambling to kids. It has nothing to do with marketing gambling to children. It's all to do with fraud. That's what the story is. And if it continues to go where they're just going to make it about that and politicize it instead of taking out what's actually happening, they're going to get off. They're going to get off just like Syndicate did. They're going to get off, man. And it pisses me the fuck off.
Yep, I agree.
Fuckers.
That's not how you frame a lawsuit. You frame it.
I'm going to frame your lawsuit. How about that, you fucker? All right, Tobes, man. Thank you for the call, brother.
No problem. Thank you for having me on.
No problem. All right, Miss Cripp, anything that you want to hit on or touch on before we get up out of here? Anything that maybe people don't know about you that you would like to enlighten them on? And, of course, plug yourself and tell everyone where they can find you as well.
Absolutely. Really just going to be moving forward and hopefully going to put out a bit more movie reviews on the channel. to be putting those out a bit more, and I'll still do, you know, regular funny haha stuff as well, but I'm gonna try and do a little bit more of that this year. Otherwise, I'd say you can find me on Twitter. That's where I'm very active. Yeah. I'm one of those creators that if you tweet at me 9 times out of 10, I'll respond.
Yeah, you will. This is true. You will indeed. Thank you so much for giving me so much of your time today, man. I really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. Completely different interview than we've had as of late, and I think it was a welcome change of pace. I hope people got to get to know you a little bit better, and I hope you had a good time, most importantly.
Absolutely. No, it was a great time, man.
Good stuff. All right, I'm going to go ahead and let you go, and I'm going to close out this train wreck all on my own. So you have yourself a fantastic night, and rest up, my friend.
Absolutely. You too, man. Thank you for having me.
No problem. It was my pleasure. See you later, buddy. YungCripp, everyone. What a fucking fun interview that was. It was a lot of fun. I think when you look back at it and you take a look at what we did today, I hope that you can take some stuff from it. And not just the obvious. You know, this is it's always a hard thing to talk about sometimes, you know, when you look at someone's situation, but when you break down walls and you really start connecting, you find out that we have so much in common, and it's a wonderful thing to open that door. And it was the whole reason why I want to have him on today, and I hope you all enjoyed it. We got a lot of stuff coming up. Still waiting on the final confirmation from Anything for Views. Hopefully that will be tomorrow. Not 100% sure. I know he's had a rough couple of days over there in Aussie land, so we'll see if we have to reschedule that or not. I'm not 100% sure. But regardless, Sunday, Zoe Berger, Dead on Dave, one-on-one. We're going to talk about a lot of things. Open book. Complete open discussion. We can talk about anything in the world. She told me that. So we're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to have her on and see where that goes. Last thing, tomorrow, Twitch. I'm going to be marathoning. I'm doing nothing else more than likely unless I get the message from Chad. Once I know that I'm not doing Anything for Views tomorrow, then we're going to be going into full marathon mode because unfortunately, we've had a little bit of bad luck because this week, as amazing as it's been, not everything can come up, Dave. The car broke at the, it's done. It's a dead fucking thing, unfortunately. But it is what it is. It's been a little while coming. We were hoping it would last a little bit longer. I'm getting ready to go back to the States. So tomorrow, I am going to try and put a dent in a car situation because we have somebody who's going to give us a pretty decent deal on a car, but we still got to come up with some of it. I'm going to try and put a little bit of a dent in that by working my ass off for you tomorrow. I'm going to give you a marathon, go as long as I can. Maybe we'll finally hit the 24 hours. We'll see. I just want to make sure that I get them taken care of before I head back to the States in a couple of weeks. So we're going to go and do something. I don't typically do streams like that. It'll be mostly other stuff, of course, but this is a little bit different, but we're going to have a lot of fun. And it's going to be the same old. And if you want to support, feel free to do so. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. I really do appreciate it. And we will see you next time right here on Dead on Dave Live. Keep it copious, folks. And remember, as always, if you don't have talent, have talented friends. Go check out YungCripp or you're dead to me. Get out of here and check out the outro and become a patron. Peace. Nicolas Cage is a fucking vampire. Key and Peele will never be as good as Chappelle's show, and I'm glad that show's off the air. And YungCripp is one of the better talkers on YouTube today. Good night, motherfuckers. See you later. Peace.